The absolute desire to not have a job for a living is why I did not want to, do anything else but stand up. I actually wanted to start as an actor when I went into college, and I had a scholarship and everything. And then this contest came around, and a little poster was on the wall in my dorm, and it was the CERT's college comedy competition. So I decided to enter it. I'd always been in little funny parts in high school plays and musicals. So I, put my impressions on stage for 5 minutes, and I took third place. So, and as soon as you get a laugh on stage, it's like a shot of heroin or something. It's just something that you have to get more of. You want to do it again. And so I got on stage whenever I could, and I was addicted after that point. It was nerve-wracking at first. I was scared to death because I'd been on stage before, but I'd never told jokes, and I didn't know how it was going to go. I could have bombed. But I went up there pretty confident, and it was an exhilarating feeling to make people laugh. And I mean, there were 350 people in the audience for my first time ever. And they were great, though, and they were amazing, and it was an amazing 5 minutes. It was so much fun. So it really kicked off really, just the right attitude with it, kicked off the right feeling just to want to do it again and not be scared. Eddie Murphy brought the F word into my house, so I listened. I could recite Delirious and Raw for you, mostly Delirious. That's what I started listening to, was Eddie Murphy Delirious, and memorizing it. But then I got into Carlin, and a lot of people give Gallagher a bad rap because he smashes shit, but he is a great comedian. He's really a great comic. It's just smashing stuff at the end. But if you watch his show, he's actually a very good, brilliant writer. He doesn't get the credit for that, even though I think he's gone a little cuckoo in his old age. But so I watched a lot of Pryor, Carlin, Gallagher, and Eddie Murphy, and those were my main influences, along with Billy Crystal. Impressions were always a big thing for me, so Billy Crystal was a big influence as well. Eddie Murphy, like Trading Places, 48 Hours. Richard Pryor, like the one that he did, I was losing, Crazy Train, Crazy Something, Crazy, I don't know, it was with Gene Wilder. The ones with Gene Wilder. I loved watching him and Gene Wilder. They were a great team. Of course, I watched Saturday Night Live with Eddie Murphy, and I watched it because of Eddie Murphy. I mean, that's what started off, was watching Saturday Night Live, taping it on my VCR, and because I couldn't stay up that late, and watching it the next day on Sunday morning. But I don't know. I don't think I could give you an answer with the guys that I mentioned, because they didn't really. I mean, Pryor did a lot of great sketches on Saturday Night Live. Like the ones with Chevy Chase and the racially induced ones. Where they're trading racial slurs back at each other, and that was great. But yeah, Pryor was a great actor. He pushed a lot of buttons, and that's what needed to be done. Opened a lot of doors. I'd want to go with Ralphie May. Ralphie May. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to open my eyes by the end of the week, but I want to go with Ralphie May. I think he's a great comic. He's a really nice guy, and I want to work with him. I want to do the theaters. I think I'd be a good opener for him. He needs a musical comic for his, opening act. I tried to book him. I book a theater where I live, and I couldn't. We tried to get Ralphie May in there, and we couldn't get it done. But he's somebody that I love to travel with. I always want to get on a bus, and he's got a bus. And so I always want to do that and travel the country, do that. I would love to be roasted by Don Rickles, Lenny Bruce. I think it would be great if George Carlin did it, but he would rip me to shreds. It would be awful. Who else? I think Bill Burr would be amazing, even though he would rip me to shreds. He would take the stuff that I do with music. It would probably be the anti-Bill Burr. But I'm amazed by him. I think he's wonderful. Maybe Gaffigan as well, or Brian Regan. I'm writing a Fringe show, and it's called Confessions of a Comedy Road Dog, and it's about all of the crazy shit that's happened to me over the last 28 years of performing and traveling on the road. and I have some pretty funny stories that I'm kind of compiling into, like, the set is actually a hotel room, and I'm talking about my experiences and the people that I've worked with, and the funny things that have happened on the road, as a stand-up. So it's all from a comedian's perspective, from behind the scenes, backstage. This isn't me even though it's funny stuff, this isn't me being a comedian on stage, it's me talking about comedy. Doing this French show, I do a lot of cruise ships, and I'm trying to phase that out because I hate it. But I have a few entrepreneurial things that are happening, so I'm hopefully going to be gaining a little bit of notoriety from the entrepreneurial. I can't mention what they are yet, but the entrepreneurial things that I'm launching in December, and I'm hoping that will get me on the Ellen show, because it's something that I think she would enjoy. And I love Ellen, and I think that she would find this interesting and worthwhile, and a good worthy cause as well. So I'm hoping that will launch me into better venues and a little bit more, people noticing who I am and what I do because of this venture. It's actually going to be my life's work. So that's where I see it, kind of venturing over into more of a giving back mode as opposed to traveling the country as much as I do. RonFeingold.com, RONF as in Frank, EINGOLD.com. Social media, just find me under comedian. It's not comedian Ron, it's just Ron Feingold, my name as well. And but I'm easy to find. You just see a picture of me and my wife in there. But yeah, Facebook and RonFeingold.com. I want guys to treat their ladies better. I talk about my wife in a very endearing way during my show, and a lot of women come up to me afterwards and they mention, "It's great that you talk about your wife so, in such a nice way." And I want the guys to take the advice that I give and utilize it later on, and I want people to bring up the jokes that I have about relationships, while they're in the bedroom, and laugh about it while they're there. Hi, my name is Ron Feingold. Check out my interview at acutiepie.com.